Hey guys, welcome to 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, episode number 57, where we are going to be looking at Monday Night Raw from October the 20th. And we're going to break it all down for you guys, including what the hell happened with the World Heavyweight Championship. And I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on it, Sean, and just kind of break everything down with like what happened and how the whole situation started. So just to give everyone a recap who didn't see it, as you guys are all aware, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed decided to turn on Seth Rollins at the end of last week's Monday Night Raw. They came down with the title and had kind of a conversation, a stupid conversation with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, where he wanted the title back from them, said it didn't belong to them, blah, 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 and kind of made him, kind of squirm a little bit, if you will, in getting the title back. Then he decided that there would be a battle royal at the end of the show for the main event to determine who was going to face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, a couple of things here. Obviously, one, it sounds like Rollins' injury is more serious than originally anticipated because he had to relinquish the title, which that sucks. That completely sucks. But I don't know. Do we want to get into the Battle Royal first and how it ended, or do we
So
want to get into what happened with the title?
first, I think that the fact that they haven't really said anything about what Rollins' injury has me leaning, it could be either way. It could just be they're just being cautious with it. You know what I mean? And they're going to bring, if it doesn't end up being as bad as it could be, they'll bring Seth back into the storyline. Especially with that little segment they had with Becky and Heyman.
Mm.
Um, but then I didn't have a problem with them announcing a battle royale at all. Like I feel like obviously there's only a few people that make sense to win it, but I'm okay with it. It gets people on the show. It lets so on yada yada. My bigger questions are why weren't Bronson and Braun in it, and why the hell do we have to get Jay again? Like you had the opportunity here to do hell. Give me Punk versus Styles. Like give me anybody. I don't need to see Jay. Spoiler alert: Jay won the battle royal. I don't need to see Jay in the championship match again when we know he's not going to win unless they
Well,
do some sort of swerve.
that's just it, right? So yes, obviously Jey Uso was the last man standing in the Battle Royal after he threw out his brother and LA Knight along with Dominic Mysterio to kind of close it out. And you're right. Without Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed in this match, it was only going to be Jey Uso or LA Knight who were going to win this. Like it wasn't going to be anybody else, right?
Um, I don't know.
And
I would have been fine with like them doing a random like AJ Styles for the title, even though we knew he wasn't going to win it. I
well, because
think
he
I
had
wouldn't.
just won the tag titles earlier in the show, though.
So
Spoiler alert.
I don't even care about that. I would 100% have been fine with them having Styles win it to lose to Punk at the Saturday Night Main Event because it would give us an incredible friggin' match.
True, true. So a couple of things. One, why was Bron Breakker not in this match? Forget even Bronson Reed. Bron Breakker's he's the one, right? Like
Yeah,
we all know he's the one. 28 years old. He is the future of the company. What are we doing? Pull the trigger on him now. You have too many old people at the top. And I get it. I'm 40 years old but I'm saying for wrestling, 40 is old.
it
And
is.
like you've too many people, your card is way too top heavy. And I was looking back at like the Attitude Era and like when some of these people were winning titles during the Attitude Era. And The Rock was like 26 when he won his first title. You know,
Yeah, he was one of the youngest.
Steve Austin was, I think, 28 when he won his first title. What are we doing? Like, we just make this guy just sit on this for a while. Like this guy's, you pull the trigger on this guy, and it doesn't need to be a long title reign. Like, and I'm not saying I don't want CM Punk to be the champion because it's gonna be CM Punk, right? Like, I mean, he's gonna beat Jay.
So we'll get to that part in a second. But as far as the Braun thing goes, the only reason I could see them not having him in this battle royale is if you have him win it, he has to win the title, right? Like it, he just there's no way he doesn't beat Punk as Saturday Night Main Event. Like it doesn't make sense for him to lose to Punk at
Hmm.
Saturday Night Main Event. And my only thought is that just doesn't want to tell that story quite yet. I don't know if they're holding it on for whatever other big match they want him to go over in. Not that him beating Punk isn't a huge win. You know what I mean?
But then what's the point? What was the
I
point
agree.
of them turning then?
I agree. I think that they put too many eggs in one basket with this storyline and having it all revolve around Seth. And Seth going down, I don't know if it just has them in such a tizzy that their entire writer's room is lost. You know what I mean? But like, it's all I can think of. And as far as the Saturday Night Main Event title match goes, I'm 90% certain that Punk wins the belt. I am, however, 10% on a swerve that the division comes out and helps Jay win and you get a heel turn there. I think that would be hysterical. Um,
Well, I don't even know what's gonna happen. And honestly, it's weird enough to me already that they're even doing this there because they also announced that Cody and Drew are gonna have a match as well.
oh, they
So
did.
yeah, so we're gonna have both titles defended on that show? Like what?
And after some of the trash Saturday Night Main events we've had, like,
Yeah, you're gonna have both championships defended on that show? That's lunacy.
I mean, maybe when is it? 2 weeks, something like that. Maybe trying to draw eyes to the product.
I mean, maybe. I just
It seems weird.
yeah,
Like,
I don't understand. I like this is a perfect opportunity to put it on Bron Breakker, even if it's just for a little while. It does not need to be an extensively long title reign. It really doesn't.
honestly, the smart play, you put it on Bron Breakker, and you have Seth, even if he's only out a couple months, you have Seth cost him the title when he comes back. And even that lets you have a shorter reign.
Right, and then they can feud and he can get the better of him and then he can go on a long run and lose it to somebody else, right? Like I mean, if this is like if you're just putting yourself in here because like, you promised CM Punk he was going to be the one to beat Seth eventually, and so you're just doing this now to like, move everything forward a little bit. I guess I get it, but it still just completely negates the heel turn then, or not
Oh
even
yeah,
the heel, just the turn. Like, because they're all heels, but it negates what they did to Seth. There was almost no point of them doing that to Seth, and even furthermore, there was no point to Seth winning that match against Cody. And
no,
I'm not saying that because I'm a Cody homer. I'm saying that because you had a better out if Seth lost. If Seth got injured during that match, you had a better out to have Cody win and then have them do that because then at least it lets them save face a little bit and be like, oh, well, you suck. You couldn't even beat Cody, so we're tossing your ass out of the group.
the problem is that would have required them to call an unplanned audible in the middle of the match, and I don't think that that was something they were prepared for. You know what I mean? So I sort of understand where that came from. The injury to Seth was an unplanned thing, so it sort of messed all their stuff up. Um, I just part of me is concerned that now with Seth on the shelf, that the vision is going to not be used correctly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like they need, even though Seth is gone, they need to still be used in a dominant fashion. And honestly, I think that you start that by putting them in a match with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And you have them win and beat the two of them in their first match.
Yeah. I mean,
And then you can,
I guess that helps a little bit. It would help add a little bit of credibility to those tag team titles, but
and then you continue the story of them adding people and being this group that just runs roughshod over Raw, just with Braun now as the head instead of Seth.
so is this still going to be like the War Games thing, you think?
I don't think so. Um, our commentator on our show made or on our some of our episodes made a really good point about it being not in a great place and it potentially having to be like the Wyatts and the NFTs as like a middle of the show War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly I don't see what else they can do. I mean, unless we get a random thrown together face group against whatever the vision ends up being by the time whatchamacallit rolls around, Survivor Series. But
Mm-hmm.
I just this injury could not have come at a worse time for Rollins and for WWE as a whole. Like, obviously, it sucks that he's hurt, but for WWE as a whole, this is like it completely throws everything into disarray.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can almost tell by watching the shows. Like, I mean, last week's episode of SmackDown was incredible. Raw kind of felt like it was just all over the place. And that wasn't necessarily a bad thing because we did get some good entertaining stuff on it, but it felt like there was no cohesion to the show.
No, I'll give you that. It definitely, I mean, the title change was a huge shock, and some of the other stuff that happened was not a huge shock. But yeah, you're right. A lot of everything just seemed like it was all over the place.
Yeah.
So
And I don't know. I guess we have to wait and see what the writers' room can figure out with this. You know what I mean? I
mhm.
have to imagine that you would think they would have had backup plans for these kind of things, but when your top guy goes down, there's only so much I imagine you can plan for.
So do you think? I mean, do you really think that these guys are just going to completely fall down the mid card into the mid card now?
I hope not. That's what I meant by what I said earlier about them not being used correctly and why I would have them win like the tag titles. Something that keeps them at the top of the card. And then so go off I'm gonna go off on a little bit of fantasy booking thing here for a second.
Sure.
I have I have them win the tag titles. I have them then start recruiting other people. Austin Theory was the big one they're talking about. Honestly, I think they need to recruit 2 to 3 more people. I think they need to be a group of like 5. Um, I think you, led by Braun, you have them win the titles and they just run wild, dominating people in tag team matches, in whatever matches you put them in. That lets you get Braun into that main title picture. That's when you have Braun win the title.
So you just have him like win the Royal Rumble.
Potentially, yes.
Now it's the World Heavyweight Championship, right? He's not going to go after Cody.
No, it'll be the Raw Championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when Seth comes back, Seth goes on his mission of taking out the people who took him out, including Heyman and Braun and Bronson and whoever else happens to be in his way at that point.
So what do you do with Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns is his own conundrum. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's got
Like,
the thing with Jay going on, but like,
I think that if my little 10% hope of the Vision helping Jay win is a thing, you then
I
have a
don't think
nice
it's going to
little,
happen.
I don't either. That's why it's 10%. But you have a nice thing right there with Roman you can do.
Uh,
The problem with Roman is with Roman basically being a special attraction, it's it's hard to find storylines for him. You know what I mean? Things
so
that are a high enough caliber to justify having Roman Reigns' name attached to it.
true.
Like, honestly, Did we really need to have a second Bronson Reed Roman Reigns street fight? No, we
No.
didn't. And I get why they did it. They wanted to make Bronson look as strong as Braun, but like that's the issue though, is who else on this roster do you have now that Seth is gone? Because that was obviously the big thing was going to be Seth versus Roman at some point.
Right.
I mean, maybe you get Punk versus Roman at some point here, and Punk goes over him obviously, but I don't really know where you go with him just because I don't know what feuds are of high enough star power for him, you know?
Well, and that's just it. I mean, just we already did the thing with him and Jey Uso a while ago. Like, do we really want to see that again? I mean,
Not not particularly.
yeah, I don't really want to see that again. And I don't really want to see Jay versus Jimmy again. And I think that that's going to happen.
So do I. And that's another problem though, is when you're so committed to only pushing certain people, well, they desperately need people like Gunther back to be telling some of these other stories. Honestly, give me Ludwig Kaiser back. Get the Americano mask off of him and get him back as a heel, a foil to one of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's just so much they could be doing, and I just don't feel like they're doing any of it. And it's super annoying. Like I don't
I
know.
still
The AI did not do a good job this week.
I don't think I don't think the AI is I don't know how much credence I lend to the AI thing
I know.
because
I'm just being stupid.
no, I know. This we all know how the internet loves to talk about these kind of things, but I still wouldn't go so far as to say that WWE right now is as bad as it has been in the past because it's still at least watchable. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
stories don't exactly make the most sense lately, but they it's still watchable.
That's fair.
Sorry, the cat has decided he wanted to walk through the camera.
No, it's all good. So, all right. So let's get into the rest of the show then. So we did have we have new tag team champions in
That was
AJ
shocking.
Styles and Dragon Lee beating the Judgment Day, which yeah, I was stunned to see that. Great match. I mean, because of course it was going to be a great match. AJ Styles could
Oh,
wrestle a bigger bag and it would be a great match. But if you put him up against Finn Balor and even JD, like, you know, it was going to be awesome. So I'm glad they won. And I kind of was hoping like this was initially going to be a trend of like good things to come. That
yeah.
turned out to not be the case, but we'll get into that in a minute. But what did you think of the match and the shock title change?
So obviously, whoever Dragon Lee pissed off backstage is no longer mad at him. Um, I've just I've never quite understood because as a luchador, Dragon Lee is an incredibly talented wrestler, and he speaks pretty good English for versus a lot of those other guys. So I've never quite understood why they've treated him the way that he did, especially because whenever he has a match, 9 times out of 10, his matches are real energetic and look real good, other than
Right.
them having him constantly lose. And I'm not going to lie, getting him away from, once again, the El Grande Americano thing, which as a temporary thing was fun and funny, but getting him and Styles and that away from that has helped Dragon Lee, I think, overall. And I think that being able to pair him with AJ Styles will also help him too as a wrestler. And with putting the titles on him, I look forward to it. Even though I'm thinking it's going to be a short reign, I the two of them will put on great matches. And like you said, Finn Balor and JD McDonough themselves are tremendous wrestlers. So this match was everything that I expected it to be, except for the title change. I did not see that coming.
So where do you think we go with the Judgment Day? Given that the next match we saw Dominic defeat Rusev because of course we did. Because of course
It
Penta came out and of course Dominic retained and everyone our audience knows what my feelings are on Dominic Mysterio, so no, you know, no shock there. But like what do we do with the Judgment Day? Like more
so
specifically.
that Dominic isn't going to lose the title in a singles match to Penta or Rusev. I'm still convinced that what I talked about last week is going to happen, that it's going to be like a triple threat with the three of them, and that's where he's going to end up losing it. And I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being maybe on the Saturday Night Main Event show. And I think that it's going to be a direct result of the Judgment Day. Because with
It
them
has to
dropping
be,
their
right?
titles, yeah, I mean, they've still been playing up the fact that he hasn't been really doing anything for them, but he's been expecting them to do everything for him.
Hmm.
And the only thing I hope is that they involve Liv in it. And I really don't understand why they haven't done that yet, especially considering that from everything I've heard, she is ready to come back. And
Hmm.
I think that her coming back would be a huge boost just in general.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like it seems like it's way, way, way overdue. And I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for at this point. Maybe they're waiting
No,
for Survivor Series because maybe now this is the direction they're going to need to go. But yeah, it needs to happen much sooner rather than later. I wouldn't be surprised seeing her come back and then having them tag with the Kabuki Warriors to go up against like a
yeah,
hodgepodge of faces, like we talked about last week, with the likes of Rhea, Io, Stephanie Becker, and yeah, I don't know, Bailey and Lyra or something like that.
your idea was I would 100% could get behind your idea for that War Games match
They're
for the
probably
women.
going to have to do that, right? Because if they can't put a star-studded match together for the men, they're going to have
They
to
need
put
to
a
do it for
star.
women.
The women have to like Rhea and Io and and Bailey and all of them and Stephanie, they all have to be involved in
Yeah,
that match because like if you're not going to be able to get your A players involved in the men's match, you're going to have to get your A players involved in the women's match.
yeah. Oh, 100%. Just to make up for the fact that the injury side of things has the men's side so decimated.
Now, the next question I have for you then, because there was not much to talk about for the rest of the show, but assuming they go in this direction now, Survivor Series is going to be at a baseball stadium, 40,000 seats.
Yeah.
Are they're not going to be able to sell this out, are they? If Roman's not on the show, if Seth isn't on the show, I'm assuming Cody will be on the show. He'll probably have a title match. But I mean, are they going to have a harder time selling this out if they put together a mid men's War Games match?
Roman's going to have to be on the show. I mean, if they're doing a, 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 a baseball, a first time ever baseball stadium show like this, they need to have. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Brock there in some capacity. You'll have to see Roman there in some capacity. Obviously, Cena will be there in one of his last couple stops. Um, I
That's
don't
true. That's true.
like
You
so
will
you
you will
they're,
have Cena. You're right.
but they're gonna have to have these big name stars on here because you're right. It's like I said, these injuries and all that have put them in a real bad spot at like the worst possible time with trying to do a bigger show. Um, Honestly, I would have been fine with them straight up canceling this Saturday night main event that they have here coming up, just so that they could work on getting the storyline put together for Survivor Series
Yeah,
and save the title match for Survivor Series. That gives you a guaranteed big match at Survivor Series. And screw it being just a single person match, have it be a multi-man match of some sort.
you think that? Do you think that they're just? Do you think they don't want to just have the title sit vacated for because they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with having Punk be the number one contender that he won last week. So, do you
Yeah.
think that they just want to get it on him for now and then do the Braun match at Survivor Series and not have it be Just not have the title be like vacated for a month and a half.
I don't know that it would have mattered if it was vacated. They could have done like some sort of tournament or something over that time frame. You know what I mean? Like
That's true.
there's a whole bunch of different like stories they could have done. And I mean, hell, you could have had Cena take place in like have one of his last matches, call an audible, and have one of his last matches be a hell the Survivor Series match, a multi-man match, and have Cena win a spot in the multi-man match.
Yeah.
Gives you Punk versus Cena again in a big match.
Yeah. No, that's true. That would have, yeah, that could have been big time. Like, and you know, I don't think they're gonna do, I don't think they're gonna do that one again. But you know,
No, but
that would be cool.
I'm just saying, like I'm not gonna lie. I've occasionally sat here while playing WWE 2K25 and used it just a fantasy book things that I'm going to talk about on the show here.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So we also had another great match between Maxine and Becky. Maxine's been great lately. I give Maxine a ton of props. I don't know who she's working with or what she's doing, but Maxine has really, really looked good lately in the ring. The last few times she's been in there, and maybe that's because she's in the ring with Becky. But Maxine has looked like $1 million in the ring the last couple of matches, and I would not be surprised if they pull an audible and they put the title on her, the IC title.
I don't know if she's a big enough name to carry the IC title off of Becky. I think
Even if it's for like, even if it's for a couple weeks, and then have Becky win it back.
I think it would be awesome, and you're not wrong. I don't know what it is about her when she's in the ring with Becky, but she has taken her game to another level,
Mhm.
and it's been incredibly entertaining. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of enjoying the unhinged Becky that we've got now too.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
from like with her threatening Heyman afterwards and all that. So I'm very curious to see what they do with the story for her as well.
Well, and where are they going to go with her now that Seth is gone too? Like, I mean, I still feel like you're probably right, and we will probably get the inevitable match with her and AJ Lee. But like,
Yeah,
what do we do with Becky after that?
yeah. I don't. I just honestly, if I'm WWE, I after Survivor Series, I do some sort of roster shakeup. Not necessarily a draft, but I move some people around, get some fresh faces, so you can get some fresh feuds going on.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to.
I mean, it sucks that a couple of the fresh faces that we thought we were going to see are now not going to happen. Like, I don't know if you heard, but Solruka has a knee injury, had to relinquish her titles. Um, so yeah, so it is. It sucks that we some of the stuff people we were going to expect to be seeing soon coming up, we're not going to now. But they still have a ton of talent that they can move around.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And then we also did see Stephanie Becker beat Roxanne Perez clean. No surprise there. Like
Yeah,
Stephanie's the champion. She's not going to lose anytime soon. I think this
it
was
was
a
a good
good
match.
spot. Yeah, it was a good match. Good spot to put her in. Roxanne is great. Roxanne will be a champion at some point. I have no doubt. So it's a fine match. Yeah, and then that took us into the main event, to which, as we mentioned, obviously Jey Uso won, and yeah, I didn't love that. I didn't love it at all. And I hope that they can find a way to, now that there's some time has passed, they can find a way to figure out what they're going to do with this story and like get a better situation for this title, I think. And I want to preface that with like, I do not mind at all CM Punk being the champion. I'm assuming he's
No,
going to, like, he deserves it. And I don't mind him being the champion at all. Would I rather this was like just a restart for CM Punk as well? Yeah. Like put the title on Bron Breakker. CM Punk goes over to SmackDown and begins his journey to his match with Cody.
yeah,
like after CM Punk loses the title to Braun and loses his rematch, which he'll probably get, which might go as far as SummerSlam. I think at that point, CM Punk needs to go over to SmackDown and his rivalry with Cody needs to begin because that feud has to happen before CM Punk hangs it up.
I feel like that'll probably be Punk's last feud.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of want Punk to beat him.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I don't know if they would do that, but I kind of would want Punk to beat him. So that was Monday Night Raw. What are your final thoughts and your final rating?
I give it a 3. I mean, the title change definitely gives it a couple extra points. Few things I wasn't a real big fan of across the show, but overall it was not a terrible episode. I mean, Dominic retaining is always a negative on that side for me, but like I said, I am a firm believer that that's going to require a triple threat to have him finally drop that title. But overall, I was okay with the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
There were definitely some things that I would change. I mean, I didn't love how they did the main event, but
Yeah.
we'll see what they go with for us for now, and then like how we get to whatever the final story happens to be. But I don't know. Overall, I'd give it a Paul Heyman is penguin faced out of 5, and see how it goes from there. So that is our episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this. So we're going to put out some special content for you guys this week. It's been about 6 months since we've revisited our top fives, men and women in the world of professional wrestling. So we're going to take a look at that, and hopefully we'll get Mr. T on to do that. Yeah, I think we got another pay-per-view coming up soon. So we'll give these guys an opportunity to gain some ground on me. They didn't really fare so well at the last show, and we're running out of shows until WrestleMania gets here. I think we got about a half dozen left. So these guys don't have much more time to catch the champ. So thank you guys so much for joining us and have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.